You want to know what betrayal really feels like? It's not the screaming. It's not the accusations. It's not even the cold silence. It's the moment you realize that someone looked you in the eyes, claimed to love you, and still chose to destroy everything you built together. My wife stormed into the living room that night with fire in her eyes. I barely had time to blink before she threw my phone on the table. Who is she? She demanded. You think I'm stupid? I looked down. It was a message from a coworker, someone I had lunch with that afternoon. The message: thanks for the advice today. You're always so helpful, smiley face. That was it. But to her, it was enough to ignite a full-blown war. No woman texts like that unless there's something going on, she snapped. I tried to explain. I showed her the whole conversation. I even offered to let her call the woman and ask. But she didn't want the truth. She wanted fuel for her anger. And no matter what I said, she kept twisting every word, every breath, every gesture, until suddenly I was the villain in her story. And then she did the unthinkable. She packed a bag, slammed the door, and vanished for a weekend without a word. No call, no message, nothing. I was worried. I called her family, her best friend. No one knew where she was, or so they claimed. Then, on Sunday night, she came home. Her lipstick smeared, her perfume foreign, her expression smug. She tossed her keys on the counter like nothing happened. I needed space, she said. But deep down, I knew. I knew exactly what she had done. She wanted revenge for something I never did. And the worst part, she didn't even try to hide it. At first, I didn't think much of it. We all scroll aimlessly sometimes, right? I figured she was just escaping from stress, from work, from me maybe. Everyone needs an outlet. But over time, the phone became her constant companion, during dinner, while we watched movies, even while we laid in bed. Her face bathed in the blue glow of the screen, thumbs dancing endlessly. And me? I was the background noise. I tried not to make a big deal out of it. I'd ask, everything okay? She'd smile, half-hearted, and reply, just work stuff. But her fingers never stopped moving. Then came the little shifts. She started taking her phone with her everywhere, even to the bathroom, even when she was just stepping outside for a second. If I walked into the room, she'd instantly flip it face down. If it buzzed and I glanced at it, she'd snap, can I have a little privacy? I wanted to trust her. I needed to believe she was telling the truth, because the alternative felt like walking off a cliff. And let's be honest, I'd just been falsely accused myself. The last thing I wanted was to become the suspicious one. But one night, the dam broke. She had gone to take a shower and, for once, left her phone charging on the nightstand. I stared at it, fighting myself. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who snoops. But then it buzzed. Once. Then again. And again. Curiosity, dread, and instinct all exploded in me at once. I picked it up. The message preview alone sent my stomach into freefall. I miss your hands. Can't stop thinking about the way you touched me last night. I opened the thread, and what I found hollowed me out. Messages back and forth for weeks. Intimate. Flirtatious. Explicit. She had a second life, a secret relationship that ran parallel to ours. And the worst part? The tone. The affection. The raw desire she used to show me now poured into someone else. I sat there in silence, phone trembling in my hand, pulse roaring in my ears. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just sat in the dark and watched the truth unravel everything I thought I knew. And in that moment, something inside me cracked. Because it wasn't just the betrayal that hurt. It was how easily she had pretended, every smile, every kiss, every "I love you," while texting another man under the dinner table. She walked into the kitchen like nothing happened. Like she hadn't just torn a hole through the life we built together. Wearing one of my old shirts, humming a song she knew I liked. She moved around, making coffee, as if that steam could fog up the truth she left trailing behind her. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I placed her phone on the table, screen unlocked, open to the thread. The one I wasn't supposed to see. She froze. The cup in her hand trembled just enough for a drop to hit the floor. Her eyes moved slowly from the screen to me. Her lips parted, maybe to lie, maybe to scream, maybe to beg, but nothing came out. Then finally, a whisper, I was going to tell you. I raised an eyebrow, not out of surprise, but disbelief. Were you? Before or after the next time you met him? She flinched, then lowered her gaze like a child caught cheating on a test. It was a mistake, she mumbled. A mistake. I echoed. My voice cracked, not from anger, but exhaustion. A mistake is forgetting to lock the door. A mistake is calling someone the wrong name. You had an affair. You made time. You chose him. Tears welled up in her eyes. Crocodile or real? I couldn't even tell anymore. Maybe both. I wasn't trying to replace you, she said, stepping closer. I was confused. Hurt. You've been distant since. I held up a hand. No, don't you dare make this about me. She stopped mid-step, face contorting with the guilt she could no longer avoid. I gave you everything. I continued, my voice louder now, steadier. My love, my loyalty, my time. And instead of talking to me, you gave your body and your heart to someone else. That wasn't confusion. That was betrayal. She collapsed into a chair. For the first time, the mask fell off. The one she wore every day, pretending we were okay. Pretending she cared. Now, she just looked small, tired, defeated. I didn't feel pitied. I felt closure. I'm leaving, I said. She looked up, panic flooding back into her expression. Please don't. We can fix this. I'll block him. I'll go to therapy. No, I interrupted. You had your chance. You made your decision. Now live with it. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't slam the door. I just walked out. Because sometimes, the loudest way to say goodbye is the silence that follows. In the days that followed, the silence was deafening. No arguments. No lies. No excuses. Just me, alone in a cheap apartment with beige walls and a mattress on the floor. But for the first time in months, my thoughts weren't a battlefield. They were a blueprint. I replayed every moment of our relationship. Not just the love, but the gaslighting, the guilt tripping, the way she weaponized tears and silence, how she tore me down inch by inch and made me doubt my worth, all while calling herself the victim. And suddenly, it all made sense. She didn't cheat because I failed her. She cheated because I finally stopped failing myself. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to wallow. I wasn't going to chase closure or beg for apologies. I was going to rebuild, not just my life, but my confidence, my dignity, and my name. Step 1, lawyer. She thought I'd just walk away quietly, maybe let her keep the house and half of everything. But betrayal has a price, and I made sure she'd pay in full. I gathered receipts, bank statements, chat logs. Everything I needed to prove not only the affair, but how she tried to manipulate the narrative, how she accused me to justify her actions. My lawyer's face lit up when he saw the messages. You'll be fine, he said. Judges don't like liars, especially not bold ones. And as the case progressed, something in me shifted. I wasn't just trying to win in court. I was reclaiming the version of me she tried to bury, the man with ambition, strength, and standards. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years reached out. You look better, they said. Lighter. I was. Because I had shed the dead weight of a relationship built on deception. And every time I looked in the mirror, I saw someone I hadn't seen in a long time. A man who knew what he was worth. And this time, I wasn't going to let anyone take that away from me. The court date arrived like a storm on the horizon. She showed up in her best act, makeup just right, clothes conservative, eyes watery. Playing the part of the wronged wife. The victim. She even brought her parents, likely hoping their presence would lend her credibility. Too bad I brought the truth. The judge listened as her attorney painted a story full of holes and half-lies. How she felt emotionally abandoned. How I pushed her into a corner. But then it was our turn. And my lawyer didn't need drama. Just facts. The messages. The timestamps. Photos from hotel check-ins. Bank transactions for weekend conferences that turned out to be romantic getaways. The courtroom was silent. Even the clerk had stopped typing. Then came the final blow, audio. One of her friends, disgusted by the affair, had recorded a phone call. On it, my wife laughed about how she was keeping both men wrapped around her finger. The judge stared at her like she was something rotten left too long in the sun. Verdict. I kept the house. She forfeited alimony. She was ordered to pay for a portion of my legal fees. Because lies, it turns out, aren't free. But I wasn't done. See, she had painted me as a cheater to friends, family, and online. She spread rumors, poisoned circles we once shared, tried to turn people against me. So, I cleared the air. One by one, I sat down with those who mattered. I showed them the truth. Some were shocked. Others were ashamed they believed her. A few apologized outright. And then I did something unexpected. I posted one simple, Factual statement online. No bitterness, no rage. I was accused of things I didn't do. I stayed silent to handle it properly. Now that it's over, here's the truth, with proof. I wish her healing, but I no longer carry her lies. The post went viral in our circles. And suddenly, the woman who tried to destroy my reputation found herself standing in the rubble of her own. People started distancing themselves. She lost jobs, friends, opportunities. But here's the twist. I didn't smile about it. Because revenge wasn't the point. Freedom was. I wasn't just clearing my name. I was reclaiming my voice. And as I walked away from that chapter, I didn't look back. Because some stories aren't meant to be rewritten. They're meant to be closed, so you can start a new one.